guys, it's your girl Angela with Aspiring Boss. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. Today's video is going to be a fun one. I've gotten a lot of comments from you guys who are not yet law students or lawyers, and you guys are looking to go to law school, intrigued about law school, and some of the terms that I've been using you just are not familiar with, which is totally understandable because some of this law school stuff, it's just not something you use in a day-to-day basis. So I thought it'd be really cool to start a series on legal terms defined. And this will be in different sections, right? Some will be law school related, some will be lawyer life related, some will be transactional lawyer life related, some will be litigator lawyer life related. And I know I'm not a litigator, but I know the terms, y'all. You know, I work in a large law firm, so I come in contact with litigators every single day. So today's video is gonna be some law school terms defined, and not really class specific, but just general terms you're gonna need to know when you get in law school. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first term is gunners. You have heard this term on my channel as well as some other legal YouTubers channels, I'm sure. But a gunner is just that annoying person in law school who always has something to say. They're always raising their hand. They think they know all the answers to the questions and they just come off like know-it-alls. And when you're a 1L and you see someone always knowing the answer to the question or answering the question, always having something to say, a lot of times you will deem them as the smart person. And a lot of times they're not the smartest person in the room, they're just the loudest. So that's what we say when we talk about gunners, just that person who always has something to say, the person who always has the answer, the person who always wants to challenge the professor. Okay, next term, outline. You hear this word a lot. You hear outline. So the outline is really just what you would call a study guide in college. Okay, so it's your study guide. You started on day one of the class. It really just outlines all the legal principles, concepts, definitions, explanations, examples that you learn along the way in a course. So that's what an outline is, basically a study guide. Okay, next terms, 1L, 2L, and 3L. These terms just really identify what year you are in law school. So, you know, like in college, you say freshman, sophomore, junior. In law school, you would say 1L for first year, 2L for second year, 3L for third year. Okay, so black letter law is really just established legal principles and rules of law, okay? There's no doubt, there's no question of whether that is the law or not, like it is with case law, which we'll talk about later. It is the law. For example, when you learn, you know, what a contract is or what you need to have a contract, one of the requirements is consideration. That is the law, okay? There's no question about that. It's not arguable. That is the black letter law, that in order to have a contract, you must have consideration. The next one is bar exam. So the bar exam is a test that you must take in order to be licensed in a specific state. For example, I live in Missouri. I had to take the Missouri bar exam. When I was practicing in Texas, I had to take the Texas bar exam in order to become a licensed attorney. So when people talk about the bar, that's a big test that you have to take after you graduated from law school in order to legally practice law. All right, the next one is the Bluebook. And I don't have my Bluebook, I don't know where it is, but I'll put a picture up here. So the Bluebook is just a manual or guide that governs how you cite legal documents such as cases, journals, and other court documents. So basically you look at this guide to determine how to cite something. So if you're writing a paper and you want to reference a case, you know, aspiring boss versus subscribers, then you would look at the Bluebook to determine how to properly cite that case. The next one is case brief or briefing cases. So you'll hear this a lot. So basically in law school, you have to read cases for like as your homework to kind of learn about legal principles. So a case brief is basically when you outline or summarize the case that you've read and you just point out, you know, the legal conclusion, the issues, some facts, the analysis, and things like that. But basically it's summarizing or outlining a case. The next one is law review. In law review, it's basically a law student run journal that publishes articles written by legal professionals such as professors or judges or someone, you know, along those lines. Law review is typically not the only journal at your law school, but it's the most prestigious one. It looks really good on your resume, and so a lot of students like to do law review as a resume booster. Anyone who likes to write or do legal analysis or is just kind of interested in that type of thing would probably really like law review. The next one is either Lexis, Nexis, or Westlaw. These are software companies that provide law students, lawyers, judges, legal professionals with the opportunity to access their database to do legal research. These databases will come in such handy with you as when you're 1L in law school and once you're a practicing attorney if you do litigation, because you do a lot of research. The next one is mock trial and or moot court. I put them in the same category just because they're similar. Basically, it's a competition-based activity where students simulate going through a real court process or a real trial process where you prepare briefs, you do oral arguments. You basically just emulate a actual court proceeding. That sounds really, really cool. I didn't participate in either mock trial or moot court in law school just because I knew I didn't want to be a litigator and go to court and stuff. But if you do, that just sounds really, really cool and really, really fun, and it looks really good on your resume. Next one is the Socratic method, and I'll tie this one with cold calling because it's the same thing. I've talked about this before in a different video, but basically it is where you kind of randomly get called on in class. A lot of times you'll get asked questions that you haven't even been taught about other than like doing readings. Like the professor hasn't really gave you the lesson yet. You've just done readings, and the professor will call on you and ask you to answer questions based on those readings. And it can be super intimidating and very, very scary, but it's the way they do things in law school. It depends on the professor of how intense it is. Some professors will prepare you and let you know like you're up this week or you're up in class next week. A lot of professors won't, and they'll just randomly call on you. So that's what people mean when they say cold calling or they talk about the Socratic method. The next item is law supplements. These are just guides or extras that are prepared for certain class to help you prepare for class a little bit better. So say, for example, you're taking a contracts course, you will have a main book, but there are different companies out there that will prepare these supplements to try to break things down easier, give you a little bit more study material, and just allow you to learn the subject a little bit better. I didn't use many supplements in school, but a lot of people do like them, and so that's something you can look into when you go to law school. All right, the next ones are Barbri and Themis. These are bar prep courses that are really, really popular. Barbri is probably the most popular bar prep course. It's the course that I took and the course that most people take, and just from my experience, Themis is an online version of it that's probably a lot more popular now just because everything's virtual because we're in a pandemic. Those are just two of the more popular bar prep companies. Okay, so the next one is CALI Award. A CALI Award is just an award that's given to a student who got the highest grade in the class. I was lucky enough to be able to get the CALI Award, I think maybe 4 times while I was in law school, if not 4, 3 times in law school. So it's a pretty cool accomplishment, but it really doesn't mean much other than you got the highest grade in that course. Okay, so the next thing you'll hear is clerking or clerkship. Clerkship is just an internship. A lot of people will intern for judges over the summer or, you know, during the semester, and so that's what a clerkship is. Similarly, an internship or a summer associateship, those are just internships basically where you get experience by working at a law firm or some sort of legal entity, you know, working for the DA or some, you know, some sort of legal entity where you get legal experience at. So when people say internship, summer associateship, clerkship, judicial clerkship, that's just kind of what they're talking about. Getting a job during law school at a legal entity to get legal experience. Some are paid, some are unpaid. All right, so the next one is clinics. Clinics are more practical courses, so they're not like your standard, you know, contracts, property, con law classes. There are things where you actually do more hands-on learning. For example, I took a contracts negotiation course because I knew I was going to be a transactional lawyer. So there, not only did we learn, we actually did, you know, actual exercises to learn how to negotiate and to practice negotiating. So those are clinics. Another clinic I did was a human trafficking clinic where I helped victims of human trafficking seek asylum here in the United States. So I actually helped them prepare their application. I interviewed them. I actually did think it's more of a practical learning rather than your normal textbook, you know, test taking learning that you usually do in law school. All right, so the next term you'll hear people say is SCOTUS, and that just stands for the Supreme Court of the United States. You'll read a lot of their court opinions, and that's just such a long phrase to say, so people just refer to them as SCOTUS. So the next word is precedent. Precedent is basically a court decision that's referred to as a legal authority. So basically, if something isn't, you know, the black letter law like we talked earlier, if there's a case that had the same facts as your current case or the same issues as your current issues, and there was a ruling made on it, you can use that case to support why your case should have that same decision that that previous case made. So basically, courts like to stay consistent in their rulings, so they will use previous cases to help them decide current and future cases. So that's why precedent is so important. All right, guys, so those are all the terms I have for you today. Like I said, I plan to make this a little mini series, so I will be doing more law school, lawyer life, transactional lawyer life, litigation lawyer life, common terms that you probably heard and you might not know what they are. If you have any specific terms that you want me to do in my next video, comment down below and I'll make sure to do them. I'm just trying to make these as simple and easy to understand as possible for those of you who are not yet on your legal journey. So I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and make sure you like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.